Hey guys, Chibnall era's finally over after 4 excruciating years. It's finally done. It's like peeling off a band-aid, kind of. Nah, it's like getting a large lump removed from your neck. I don't know what type of metaphors I'm doing today, but here we are. So there has been 31 episodes in the Chris Chibnall era, and I have liked 6. That's like 20%. That's like, is that 20%? Yeah, that's 20%. That is so bad. Wow. Um, Compared out to like the Capaldi era where I liked 90%, or even the Eccleston era where I liked all of them. So this is gonna be a sad time. To go along with the sad time, I've listed the tier rankings, except nothing's above a C plus. Oh God, I feel so mean. Because I think Chibnall, he seems like a really nice person, but he's just simply a bad writer, and there's nothing I could really do about that. So I'm gonna judge his work fairly, and I'm not mean to him as a person. I really want to make that clear. I'm sure he's a really nice guy, but you know, I know crap when I see it. So let's get started. So the first episode was the woman who fell to earth. So okay, the first half of series 11, I was in my denial phase. I'm like, this is pretty good. There hasn't really been any um good stuff yet, but that doesn't mean it can't become good. But about yeah, in retrospect, it's like, no, this all was really bad. And this is no different from the woman who fell to earth. I think one of the main things I don't like about it is the fact that they introduce all 3 companions in the same episode, which I think is a very bad thing. Um, I mean, 60s and 80s Doctor Who has shown that 3 companions could work. The Unit era, Torchwood, the Sarah Jane Adventures, all of those had very large casts, which shows that could work. But this doesn't because they don't really give enough character to either of the companions. Like Yaz did not need to be in this episode. They could have waited to introduce Yaz. Um, Ryan's character throughout this entire season is like, can't ride a bike, and Manan's did. I wish Manan wasn't dead and I could ride a bike. That's all he does. Graham's the only one who kind of gets a character arc, but a lot of the episodes he's very sidelined. So this episode in particular was very just I don't know, just very by the books, um, plodding along kind of, a lot of exposition-y dialogue. Tim Shaw was a very lame villain, if I'm gonna be honest. It's not the worst episodes, that's what F's here for, Mr. F, but it's still very underwhelming. And I feel like we don't really get to know Grace enough before she dies to make us care. Um, and I don't even think that's for her being in one episode because, like, look at Voyage of the Damned. They killed off most of the cast, but you still cared about them. I just feel like she wasn't exactly a character, she was more just a plot device, kind of like, what's her name? America Chavez from Doctor Strange. Like, it's just not even a character, just a plot device. Moving on to episode 2, The Ghost Monument. So after episode 1 ended with the big, pretty good cliffhanger of them being stuck in space, the Ghost Monument does what all Chibnall cliffhangers do, is resolve it immediately and with like the most contrived way possible. So they just get picked up in the middle of space. I don't know though. The next 45 minutes are just doing this really stupid like obstacle course reality show thing. It's probably one of the most forgettable episodes. The guest cast is horribly written. I don't really blame the actors because the dialogue's really bad too. Um, the papal monsters are very easily defeated, and they're really not much of a threat to begin with. There's really nothing to like about this episode besides the visuals. Jodie's doctor doesn't really feel like the doctor yet, and she doesn't really feel like that, in my opinion, until Flux. So I don't really think it's how she's written, or maybe how she's acted. Maybe it's a little bit of both, but I don't know. She just doesn't feel she's not in control enough of the situation. All the doctors felt really in control of the situation, and they're kind of cool and calm under pressure. You have those doctors, and then you have like the Troutons who act stupid, but they're actually really smart. That's kind of Trouton, a little bit of McCoy. Um, this doctor literally just feels very inept, I guess, at least in a full season. So, after two boring episodes, two horrible episodes, let's get on to one I actually liked, Rosa. Now, if you put this episode in the Capaldi era or, Smith, Eccles, pretty much any other Doctor's era, I'd think it was the weakest one of the season. But, when up against all the other trash, this is actually my favorite of Series 11. Um, now, let me just start with the goods. I think the acting is good. I think Ryan and Yaz got a good scenes together. Rosa Parks' actress was pretty good. Um, and the bus scene was good because you can't really change the future, even if it's a little weird because like in actuality, Rosa Parks like took a seat on purpose, not just because like the wasn't an empty. She went to the she went to the front of the bus on purpose. Is what I'm saying. Now, bad side to this episode. Space Racist is a horrible villain. I think the episode could have been just fine without a villain. Um, and it's very like it doesn't delve deep into the anti-racist themes. It's literally just being racist's bad. Racists aren't good. And I think that's something everybody could agree on. So the episode's not as brave as it wants to be, but at least it's a competent episode. At least it has some good scenes in it. So that deserves its C minus ranking. Moving on to the episode, episode 4, Arachnids in the UK. Holy fuck, this episode is awful. This is when I started to give up on Chibnall era, and oh my god, this episode's bad. So, we meet Yaz's family, because remember, Yaz is part of the show. Yaz's family, and they really have no personality. Contrast that to any of the Russell companions' family, like Jackie or Martha's family had a personality. Donna's family definitely had a personality. These guys just don't. They just exist only to help the plot. Um, we have these. We have evil Donald Trump because you know, you have to, I guess. And he's this complete caricature of him without really adding anything. Like, what type of message is it? Just, oh, Trump's evil. And they make him so cartoonishly stupid. But then, like, he's kind of right in the end when he shoots the spider. And the doctor's like, how could you shoot the spider? I was just going to make it suffocate to death. Which, in my opinion, is a very, very bold, gruesome, disturbing way to die than just getting shot in the head. At least that's my opinion. So yeah, this episode's a complete fail on every aspect. I think the spiders looked cool, but the spiders really didn't do anything. And if we're talking about giant spiders in Doctor Who, I think Planet of the Spiders is way better. Moving on to another shitty episode, we have the the one with the pregnant dude. So this is the one where my sister just was like, "Okay, I'm done." This is so like I don't even remember what happens in this. Like, there's a fucking wannabe baby Yoda thing who just eats people. The crew is so weird and unlikable. Um, I don't really understand the man giving birth. Uh, it's like played for laughs, but it's not that funny. Just the companions once again are just there. They're just there. They don't do anything. They'll just fucking know. Um, but yeah, that was I'm just gonna pretend like this episode doesn't exist. I don't even remember much about it because I haven't watched it since 2018. As with most of these episodes, because when I'm rewatching stuff, I like to rewatch stuff I actually like. Moving on, we have Demons of the Punjab, which is a slight improvement over the last two episodes, but still very bad. I'm gonna give it a D. This is supposed to be the Yaz-centric episode of the season, except it's not really about Yaz at all, is it? It's more about her grandma, or great grandma. I can't really remember. Um, so this episode, I feel like, has really low stakes. Like they have this alien that didn't really need to be there. The whole like acting by that one guy was so atrocious. Um, the dialogue, I think, is probably some of the worst. It's so exposition-y. It's like the doctor's all history teacher, and she's just like reading history in this monotone fucking voice. It's awful. I hate it. Um, yeah, I don't know. Moving on, kablam! Another D episode. So this one um is very plodding along. And it's like, is Klablam this evil corporation? Yes, but he didn't have to. Because they made the disgruntled vocal the bad guy, which I think is sending some mixed messages. I've never seen the Doctor being pro loud conglomerate, but it does air on the BBC, so you know. Well, yeah, once again, I don't know. I think the robots have a really cool design though, but the character writing is non-existent. Chibnall does this stupid thing he does where like he tries to make you care about the characters by putting him in for 5 seconds, saying something like, I love my life, I love my family, and then getting killed immediately. Like he does this every episode. It's so stupid. Moving on to another stupid episode, The Witchfinders. I hate ranting. I hate making negative videos, by the way. Like as you can see, most of my videos on my channel are very positive because I like having a positive atmosphere, but if I'm doing this video, it's usually just gonna be me ranting for half an hour. So this one, they're in like the witch trials, not Salem witch trials, English witch trials, and they'll, I guess, the Doctor and the companions being hunted down by King James. Who I like the actor who plays King James, but the plot itself is nonsense. Um, the 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 monsters aren't really monsters. They're just kind of there. Human beings are the real monsters, but they're unlikable anyway. I don't know. Moving on to It Takes You Away, episode 9. Hey, the full season's almost over. This is getting a D minus. Um, the like the plot is very weird and once again nonsense. It's just this girl who's like, I'm blonde. I don't like being blind. And there was this cool little Narnia Coraline parallel universe thing. There was a talking frog. It's been 4 years since I've seen it, and if I only remember the talking frog, I guess that shows it's not that good of a episode anyway. So yeah, moving on to the best season finale ever, the Battle of Vanquis of Kolos. So this one, you know, people like to say Doctor Who's known for the very good finales. Look at Parting of the Ways, Doomsday, the Stolen Oath, or Journey's End, The Big Bang. Uh, I don't know. I like Hellbent, stuff like that, and then you get this piece of crap. um, this episode is so like the plot makes no sense. It's really there's no battle, which is misleading. The stakes are very low. Tim Shaw, the returning villain. Wow, because you know how memorable he was, right? And Graham's like, I'm gonna kill him. And then Doctor's like, no. And he's like, okay. And that's it. That's his arc. His arc's over, I guess. It's just a mess. If you guys noticed, I haven't really mentioned Yaz or Ryan in any of these because they're basically cardboard cutouts and they'll stay this way for like the next season. Okay, moving on, we have the New Year special because I guess they ran out of ideas for Christmas specials, but this one totally, you know, has ideas in it. Resolution. Oh God, this is some cringe right here. So I do like the stuff about Ryan and his dad. I think that's kind of good because at least they tried to give Ryan an arc. But the whole Dalek thing is ridiculous. Just the way it looks is very unappealing. The acting is bad by the supporting cast. The main thing I remember was that stupid Family Guy-esque cutaway gag where they're like, "Oh no, there's no Powell. Looks like we gotta have a conversation." Oh God, Chibnall really had a boomer moment in that one, didn't he? But yeah, very lackluster. I really can't remember what happened, and I think that's for the best. Moving on to Series 12 premiere, Spyfall. I'm gonna give this a D. So this one has promise, I guess. It introduces the Sasa Duran Master, which is one of my favorite parts of Jodie's era. Even if he's not exactly characterized the best. So they do the thing they do with every other master, and they're like, "Who's this new character? Surprise! He's the master." And I feel like that got old like really quickly after a while. Um, but yeah, the master's back, and he has some type of nonsense plot. The first half of the episode, they're doing this James Bond uh a parody thing, and then they just completely forget about it in part two. And somehow the Master destroyed Gallifrey by himself. I don't know how that happened. They don't explain it. And the Doctor stops him by giving him off to the Nazis, saying, "Now they'll see the real you." Which, okay, what the fuck does that mean? What the fuck does that mean? Like, is there no editors or producers or anybody who saw that line and are like, maybe the Doctor shouldn't say that? I don't know. I guess not. So yeah, that's a D because at least stuff's happening and it's interesting, kind of. Um, which I feel like that's the main difference between Series 11 and Series 12. Because Series 12, they have nonsense, but at least the nonsense is interesting. It becomes so bad it's good, like just you could just point and laugh at it. Speaking of pointing and laughing at it, up next we have Orphan 55. Yay! So this is the episode that everybody hates, and for the right reasons. I myself am putting it in the F tier because it's a piece of crap. Their whole like climate change thing comes off as very forced and predictable. The characters are horrible. They're horribly written, even horribly acted. Like that kid who just lets his dad die because he's mad at him for some reason. Like, what a fucking psycho. And don't get me started on Benny. Benny, where's Benny? Oh, good God! I really wanted that lady to die. That was horrible. Um, and the doctor basically lecturing us. He's like, "This is gonna be us if you don't focus on the planet." And yeah, I think we should focus on the planet. But this isn't good. Like, this isn't good allegory. First of all, I hate allegory. Second of all, other Doctor Who episodes have been political like this, but they've been done in a better way, less a little bit more nuanced. Like the whole Celine episode was obviously a Iraq War symbolism, and the long games kind of like government overreach, but they don't feel like they're slapping you in the face with it. Good God. Next up, we have Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. This is going to be a D. So the alien threat, once again, is very lame. Nikola Tesla, everybody's acting like he's this guy nobody knows about. I never heard of Nikola Tesla. And it's like, really? You haven't heard of Nikola Tesla? This feels a little unrealistic. And then, like, they beat you over the head with it, with, like, Thomas Edison is bad because he stole the work. And I get it. but you don't have to say that every 10 seconds and make Thomas Edison his caricature. The secret to making a good villain sometimes is actually adding dimensions to them, and you can see things from their perspective. But this guy is just like cartoonishly bad. Um, so yeah, another forgettable, stupid fucking episode. Moving on to Fugitive of the Judoon, which I think is the best episode of this season, though that's not saying much. A lot of this episode hinges on setting up events for the future episodes, but that never really gets paid off well. But as an episode of itself, I think it's done very well. Um, I love the return of Captain Jack. He fits in like a glove, probably because he was written by Chibnall and Toltred. I feel like the best characters Chibnall writes are old characters he didn't even create, so I don't know about that one. Um, the doctor finds out that there's another secret doctor who I would have rather have been a future doctor than the whole timeless children shit, which I'll go on to later, because I think that would have made more sense. Because why does she also have a TARDIS that looks exactly like the doctor's TARDIS and also looks like a police box? It's never explained. Like, first of all, the doctor stole a TARDIS, so did she steal it again? The same TARDIS? Is it the same TARDIS? I don't know. Also, why does it look like a police box? You know? How come a fugitive doctor isn't like, that's weird, why does it look like like nobody questions it? It's so stupid. Why does she call herself the doctor if the doctor was a name that the doctor made up? Like the doctor calls herself the doctor because she wants to help people and, be like a woman of peace and stuff. So why does this other doctor call herself the doctor if this was something Haltnell came up with? It doesn't make sense. It's so stupid. But the episode itself is good because you assume they're going to answer these questions, but they don't. So it's a good setup episode. It just it sets up nonsense, which I'll go into later. But as an episode itself, I think it's pretty good. Moving on to Praxias, another good old Mr. F. So this one tries to do the theme of depression, and it fails miserably. It just boils down to, I'm sad. Why don't you talk to us about it? It's too hard. Okay, I'll be there for you. Oh, good God. It's so pandering. As somebody with depression saying this. Um, and the whole dream thing really made no sense, though I did like the guy who played the evil dream man. He seemed gross and, like, uncomfortable, but I enjoyed it. It was kind of some cool whole imagery there, but the rest of it's complete garbage, nonsense, pandering piece of crap. Moving on to Can You Hear Me? So, um, this one's about another. God, I don't even remember what this one's about. It's like set on a beach, and the people there are like, so, um, I'm a vlogger, and I don't give a fuck about my friend dying, and I gotta see what's going on. And that's the episode. And it's also another climate change, like environmentalist episode. And just like Orphan 55, it fails miserably because it's not subtle about it at all. It's completely preachy and nonsense. So yeah, wow. Looks like the Fs are really outnumbering everything else, aren't they? Big surprise there. Moving on to Ascension. Sorry, The Haunting of Villa Diodati. So I actually enjoyed this episode for the most part. Um, I liked the design of the rogue Cyberman or whatever his name is. I thought he was very well designed and acted, and I kind of like the whole like haunted house feel to it. The whole Mary Shelley thing. Even though Mary Shelley did meet the Eighth Doctor, but who am I kidding? Big Finish isn't canon. So yeah, pretty good episode. A lot of spooks and a lot of kooks and yeah, pretty good. Um, I think Maxine Alderson is probably my favorite writer of this era. I don't know. She's good at horror, I guess. Moving on to Ascension of the Cybermen, I'm giving this a D because it's another nonsense, overstuffed mess. I don't like the Cybermen, how they're characterized. I don't like the random scenes with that Irish guy who's who's secretly the doctor, but under some weird matrix thing. The master's back. I guess he escaped the Nazis. The new characters are very underwritten. They're just like, I grew up in a role. It's all I ever knew. And Ryan's like, sounds bad. So yeah, that's pretty much all I remember from that piece of crap. Speaking of pieces of crap, we're moving on to the finale. The Timeless Child, the episode that broke the Doctor Who fandom in two. So yeah, I hate this. I hate the idea of previous Doctors. It completely goes against everything we've known, and for what? There's not even a cool payoff to it. The way it's explained is very poor too. It's just the master like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and the Doctor escapes by she's like, I'm gonna sacrifice myself, and then this other guy's like, I'll do it for you, and she's like, okay, and then she leaves. Like what? Can you imagine any other doctor doing that? The doctor's known to be like very selfless, but not this one. This one doesn't give a fuck. Um, so yeah, that one was just a mess. Okay, what do we have next? Revolution of the Daleks. So this one's only slightly better than Resolution. I just feel like because the visuals were better, and it had Captain Jack in it. But this one really should have been a two-parter because there's just so much going on. So the Timeless Children ends with the Doctor getting kidnapped by, well, held prisoner by the Judoon, and you're left with this cliffhanger of her in prison, and you're like, wow, what's gonna happen next? And she gets out in like 5 minutes. Like, what the hell is with these cliffhangers and them getting like fined the next episode immediately? It's just so underwhelming. Chibnall knows how to do a good cliffhanger, but he never knows how to resolve it right. So, yeah, so he gets rescued by Captain Jack, who's always a pleasure to see, and I think him and Jodie actually get along very well together. Uh, and then the rest of the episode, yeah, so the first part, it should have been two-parter. First part should have just been her trying to escape. Second part, the other Dalek stuff, because it's so overstuffed. Evil Donald Trump man is back, and he's just as delightful as ever, isn't he? The Doctor defeats the Daleks by tricking every single one of them into going into the other TARDIS and then blowing it up. Like, I'm pretty sure TARDISes are living beings, so why would the Doctor do that? Is he psychotic? I don't know. Uh, Also, Graham and Ryan leave. Uh, and I actually think the departures handled well a little bit. Um, Ryan's just like, I miss my mates, and I got a job now. Bye. And like, there's like no setup to it besides that one really awkward scene where they just paused the episode's events so Jodie and Ryan could talk. And it's like, don't you guys have other things to be doing right now? Aren't you working against the clock? No? Okay, just gonna talk about our feelings in the middle of the conflict. So that's like the weird way of setting up them leaving at the end. And then after all this, Ryan still can't ride a bike, which shows thematically that he as a character has not changed at all. Literally has not changed at all. Let's see, he's in Patagonia now for some reason. Okay, well, so moving on to Flux, which I think is Jodie's best season. Um, but compared to the first two, you guys are looking at the same tier list I am. You know how I feel about it. A lot of F's down here. Holy God. Um, so yeah, season 13, Flux. So I try to cut this one some slack because it was filmed during COVID and they had less episodes than they thought. I think they thought they were going to have 8 episodes, but then it got cut down to 6. So they had to do a lot of cramming. However, if you have to cut stuff down, maybe remove some of the plot holes instead of just try to cram everything in and give nothing purpose. Because that's exactly how the Halloween apocalypse feels. It's just a bunch of random stuff that happens. It's just a bunch of stuff that happens, man. Um, and it just makes no sense. It's just all setup and nothing. Like, what's the guy from Game of Thrones doing here? Who's that guy digging the tunnels? Who are these, who are these glam rock guys from the 70s? What's any of this mean? And we find out it all means nothing. So yeah, episode 1 I was kind of excited because at least stuff was happening. So I would have given it like a C or a C minus, but then the rest of the season happened, and it's just all a bunch of nonsense. Dan gets introduced, and I gotta say, I love Dan. Not for the reasons they want me to love him, um, because he's just so brain dead the whole time, and he doesn't react to anything. He's like so, like I think they're trying to do deadpan with him, kind of like they did with like Sergeant Benton in a way. And but the way they do it is he literally just reacts to everything with nothing. He doesn't react to anything. He's just like, "Oh, look at that! I'm getting captured. Oh no, my house is gone. Oh no. Oh well." Like he just accepts everything that happens to him. He's not even a character. He's just I don't even know. But he's funny for those reasons. Like I said, not the reasons he should be funny for or entertaining. I don't know. Moving on to War of the Suntolens, which I think was a lot more focused episode. I'm gonna give it a C minus. Um, one of the few episodes from Jodie's era I actually liked, but like I said, that's not saying much. So this one, the companions all split off between different timelines, I think, and the Doctor has to stop the Suntolens in 19 whatever, and Dan has to fight some Suntolens with a rock. Dog friend, bunch of nonsense happens, but at least this one seems a lot more focused compared to most of the season. So I don't know. It's enjoyable in a way. Though the doc was like, "Well, you can't just kill them. We have to have them like suffer when they die." So he does that thing again, which is very weird. But that's just what he does now, I guess. Um, Also that villain guy was so cartoonishly evil. It's like no human being actually acts like this. Moving on to episode 3, Once Upon a Time, which is when I realized, oh, the season's a complete disaster. So there was like dream inside of flashback inside of dream, but then some of it's a vision, and Jodie's inside the other companions' minds, and also there was this random lady with a robot who turns out to be Grey Worm's wife. It's just a bunch of stupid shit. That's pretty much what I'm gonna say about all of Flux. Actually, no, Village of the Angels is pretty good, so I'm giving it a C plus. I know, like at the top of this list, it looks like it's an S tier, but it really isn't. There's a lot of problems with this episode. For example, like, what are the Weeping Angels' plan really? Um, why does that little girl have this weird, cold, psychopathic expression when her grandpa dies? Um, how come when you get sent back in time twice by an angel, you disintegrate? What the hell was that? Like that Roy got sent back multiple times. He didn't disintegrate. Um, so yeah, I don't know. But overall, I think the episode was really well done with the acting. Jodie really steals the spotlight here. I love Jericho. I think he's really cool. Um, Yaz and Dan actually get stuff to do, and you can kind of see them bonding more, which I like. I do like the Yaz Dan dynamic. Dynamic. Okay, moving on to episode 5, Survivals of the Flux, another messy episode. So this sees the return of Kate Stewart, which I would have rather not have been spoiled, because he was in like the preview for the episode before. So anyway, yeah, this one is a complete mess. I don't know what's happening. The whole Technium stuff is completely shoved out the window. It's like if it's gonna do that, just don't even touch the time limits children stuff at all. If you're gonna do that, it's meaningless. Um, the the guy from Line of Duty, the Grand Serpent, he's so stupid. Um, I don't know what his plan is. It's never really made clear. Kate Stewart, at least they give a reason for why units down, unlike Resolution, it's just like, lack of funding, lol. This time, at least they kind of give a reason. And she has this dumb scene where she's like, I put on this special perfume so you can't kill me like the others. And she goes home and her house is about to blow up. And then she's like, Osgood, I'm going dog. breaks her phone in half, throws the phone on the ground, and runs off into a random direction. I just thought that scene was hilarious. It's so stupid, makes no sense. It's amazing. It's just amazing. But yeah, in terms of quality, another shitty episode. Moving on to the finale, the Vanquishals, which is actually the only after season. I'm really surprised about that. Um, Good God, this episode was a mess. I knew it was going to be a mess before watching it because I was like, there's no way he could cram all these 18 different plot lines into one finale. What was that? This makes Time of the Trial of a Time Lord look like a masterpiece, and I hate that season. None of the plot lines get resolved in a satisfying way. The universe is completely destroyed. The Doctor commits triple genocide. Um, Dan's girlfriend hates him now for no reason. It, I don't even know. The Doctor splits herself into three people because the plot's so convoluted. You need three of all to fix all the storylines. Oh God, I don't even know. I can't even tell you what happened in this episode because it's just so makes no sense. It's just a bunch of nonsense. Boo, you suck, Vanquishals. Moving on to Eve of the Daleks, which is the last of the New Year's specials. So I think this one is a D plus. Yeah, this one's a D plus because at least it's entertaining. After the mess of Flux, it was kind of nice to have a simple, stupid story instead of a complicated, stupid story. So I liked the guest actress. I thought that other guy was like really creepy. Like he was just like stalking her. It's your fault. The time loop happened. It's like, lady, do you know that makes no sense. He's just a creepy dude. He didn't start a time. He didn't start a time loop. Dan's able to defeat a Dalek by running in circles for some reason. The Doctor gives that really stupid speech. He was like, "If we try again, if we keep trying, and we try, and we do it." I don't know. At least it was funny. Like, at least I laughed multiple times while watching it. So that was good. Moving on to the penultimate episode, Legend of the Sea Devils. Good God, that was worse than I thought it was going to be. I like the Sea Devils, and I thought it was going to be like just stupid fun. It was just stupid. I mean, it was funny, fun to make fun of in a perfect way, in a Twilight way, but just so bad. The effects looked horrible. That pirate lady. Okay, for an episode about pirates, you'd think it would be more interesting, but it just plods along and nothing happens. And this whole thing about like the Doctor and Yaz having feelings for each other is never touched on again. And the whole Dan like, oh, she likes you, you like her, you all together, goo 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 chew. It's like, get a life, Dan. Stop being a third wheel. You're acting like a loser. Um, so yeah, so stupid. Why did Dan walk outside? Okay, first of all, if they didn't know they were in pirate times, because Yaz is like, where are we? Why did Dan walk out with a pirate suit? And so stupid. Makes no sense. Um, I don't know. Moving on to the finale, uh, which is called The Power of the Doctors. So I think this one was actually very strong. For Chibnall standards. I recently talked about this in my review for it because the episode only came out like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. And yeah, I thought it was a pretty enjoyable episode. So you can see my thoughts there more in detailed. But yeah, I liked the classic companions coming back. I was very surprised by the classic doctors coming back. I think Jodie was written off in a very satisfying way, even though Yaz wasn't. She just says, Yaz, get the fuck out for no reason. Like other companions traveled with different doctors. Why can't she? Uh, the Master's plot makes literally no sense. Literally no sense. The Daleks did not need to be there. The Cybermen, underused yet again. It's just a complete mess, and it's fun though. It's a fun mess. Plus, we got to see Ian again, so I guess that makes the episode worth it by itself. So yeah, I am so tired, guys, because it's like 1 a.m. here. I did not know this stream was gonna go on so long. Um, but thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you guys thought of the Chris Chibnall era. Am I being too harsh on it by having 11 Fs? Jeez. I'm telling you guys, when I do my other tier lists for like the David Tennant era, whenever I get around to finishing that in like 500 years, I'll be more positive. I trust me. But yeah, hopefully, Russell's era doesn't look like this. The 14th Doctor's era doesn't look like this, even though he's only having 3 episodes. Could be, oh, they're so sad for the whole Fs. Um, but yeah, let me know what you guys thought of it down in the comments below, and subscribe for more content on books, TV, movies, and especially Doctor Who. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.